A single pre-season minute can say more than 100 press conferences. At Real Madrid, where history meets expectation, subtle signals become headlines, and this summer one of those signals points directly at Raul Asencio. Once trusted enough to start under Carlo Ancelotti, Asencio's trajectory has flattened into a worrying slide. Late substitution appearances, fewer minutes, and a coach who appears to be mapping out a new pecking order that sidelines him. Reports and the matchday patterns alike suggest this isn't an accident of selection. It looks like a deliberate choice by Xabi Alonso to prioritise names who bring immediate, consistent reliability to a defence that must deliver trophies now. When a homegrown defender stops starting, it cracks open questions beyond one player's form. It asks how much patience Madrid will grant youth when the margin for error narrows. Look at the squad sheet and the logic becomes clearer. Eder Militao, David Alaba, Antonio Rudiger and the younger Dean Huijsen have been favoured for their consistency and physicality, leaving Asencio scrambling for scraps of game time. That single late-game appearance in the only pre-season friendly was more than minutes on a clock. It was a statement. Coaches make hierarchies visible in the smallest choices, and substitutions are the shorthand. From the outside, it reads like a coach signalling his blueprint. Defense built around experience and immediate trust, not potential waiting in the wings. For a club chasing titles and managing huge expectations, that calculus is understandable. But for a youth academy product, the psychological blow is real. The staffing decision does not exist in a vacuum. Madrid is a club where the president's tolerance matters as much as the coach's conviction. If Florentino Perez has indeed accepted Alonso's recommendation to move on from a player, that alignment tells us two things. First, the club is prioritising short-term readiness over long-term grooming. Second, they're prepared to move hard and fast in the transfer market or the loan market to resolve any friction. For Asencio personally, the options are stark. Fight for minutes and risk stagnation, accept a loan to rebuild confidence, or open the door to a permanent transfer where first-team opportunities exist. Any choice has career-defining consequences. Off-field whispers rarely become the lead story, but they matter inside dressing rooms. Reports linking Asencio to concerns away from the pitch, whether disciplinary or personal, are precisely the kind of details that nudge a coach and president toward decisive action. Clubs prize harmony as much as form. In a squad stacked with stars and expectations, a player who distracts can find his margin for error evaporating overnight. Whether those whispers are accurate, exaggerated, or entirely benign, the practical outcome is what counts. Reduced trust, reduced minutes, and more urgent conversations at next week's training session and in the transfer room. The wider implications ripple beyond one player. Young academy prospects everywhere watch how Madrid treats its own. If a homegrown talent is shown the exit when the heat is on, prospects and their advisors read that as a signal, perform immediately or be moved aside. For Alonso, this may be a necessary enforcement of standards. For the club, it may be a pragmatic decision to protect a fragile title chase. For fans, it poses a trade-off between romantic loyalty to academy graduates and the hard realism of winning now. So what happens next? Expect a busy end to the transfer window. Clubs looking for defensive reinforcements could make quick offers. Loan deals become the most realistic path for a player needing minutes and a reset. Asencio himself may push for a move. Players in his position often decide they must leave to grow. Meanwhile, keep an eye on selection in the opening La Liga matches. If Asencio remains invisible, the transfer stories will harden into announcements, and if he fights back and earns minutes, the narrative flips from exile to redemption, which, in football, is never out of reach. This is more than a personnel update. It's a litmus test for a new era at Real Madrid, one that asks whether the club will absorb mistakes and cultivate patience, or accelerate change in pursuit of immediate success. The answer will shape not only one defender's future, but the message sent to every kid in the academy who dreams of the famous white shirt. Tonight the question is simple and urgent. Will Real Madrid protect its young, or will it demand instant proof? And will Raul Asencio be given that chance, or sent elsewhere to rebuild his story?